if I choose to go this route. I've just edited it. Oh my god, edited it. I am ready to get into this, and yeah, let's do this real fast because I am feeling tired right now. Okay, what was awesome about this week? I really enjoyed working out earlier, which is something that I put on my better list last week, and implementing that has just been dramatically better. And it also comes from something I learned from Greg Gallagher, who said that if you're intermittent fasting, you don't necessarily need the protein shake or whatever right after the workout. It almost like doesn't matter if you're fasting correctly. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that is what I learned. And yeah, so I've decided to just do a little bit of work and then head right to the gym, aka basement, and hit the workout, go real hard, take some caffeine beforehand, and just crush it. Also, Never Say Die Volume 7, Volume 5 has been an incredible fuel in addition to caffeine, and yeah, just crushing, and very pleased with how things are going. I worked out. I didn't do a yoga flex this week, which is rare because I was so amped to do the workouts I've been doing with P90X3 that I didn't end up doing the yoga flex, which is totally cool. But so crush that overall. I love that I took the time this week to take at least 30 minutes every day to review JavaScript basic principles. The way I learned, I've said this before, is that I basically learned everything I needed to know at that time, and I skipped a lot of the fundamentals, in that I ended up learning things in a weird, strange way, and like I've covered most of the stuff, but there's little tiny nuances that make all the difference and are totally the magic points. And in those, is basically where all the magic lies. And those little distinctions are so key if I want to become world class at programming, which I'm not sure if I do, but because it does take a lot of time. But I think world class, and actually I take that back. World class, I think it would be phenomenal to be programming or be world class at programming, but I don't want to become an expert, because I feel like if I'm an expert, that means it's hard for me to think of the word expert, because I'm such a generalist by nature, in that I'm not a specialist. I do not want to become an expert at one thing and become like the best in the world at that. That doesn't excite me. I want to be like, there's a great analogy that I've heard before from a guy named DHH, the creator of Ruby on Rails. He says, basically, instead of becoming the Michael Jordan, why not play in the NBA, the NHL, the MLB, etc.? Like, why not pick 3 or 4 leagues to be a pro in instead of being the Michael Jordan in one sport? That's way more exciting to me. I don't know about you, but that's personally my preference. What else can I say? Editing my first video in Premiere Pro, even though it was just simple, because it was it was 002 of the Josh Moxey show, but it was just cool to like get an edit under my belt in Premiere Pro. I've never really taken the time to learn Premiere Pro, and it's a very important program to learn. So getting that done was cool. Spent a lot of time working on React stuff, and I've really enjoyed it. It's really cool. I love the reusing component of it. Like, I made this component where I could just like tell the component which icon I want rendered. Which icon I wanted rendered, and I just passed it a string in the parameters, or sorry, as an argument. That's also something I learned this week. I'm like, fuck, arguments versus parameters. Arguments are parameters are basically like the storage of, so parameters like string 1, and it's like the variable that holds whatever could be passed, and arguments is what is actually passed when it's called. That's a side note, but I just learned that the distinction this week. I think it was actually yesterday I learned this, but fuck, it's such a simple difference, but I've been mistaking this, or I've been fucking this up this entire time with that. But anyways, where was I going with this? You just pass in an argument of like which icon you want, and it just returns the icon, and you just define like an object of like, and list them all out and blah blah blah, and it's fucking sweet, and I'm very excited with what React brings. So that was fun. What else can I say? Yeah, like I said, like loved working out 7 days. And Ab Ripper is one of those days. So it's not the full traditional schedule, but it's just like a modified version. And loved Never Say Die. It's so good. Simple things like learning, like there's just such a value in taking the time to, it's like tutorials are great, and following along, even like, it's like listening to tutorials, then watching tutorials, then, and I'm talking about the order of like awesomeness, gets better and better as time goes on. So you've got like listening to tutorials right here, then watching tutorials, then coding along with some of it, of the tutorials, then coding along with all of it, but then like taking that gap or that leap to like get to the next level where you're doing it all on your own, it's kind of hard. So it's hard for me at least. So being able to do that this week was like super helpful in that I'm I'm creating neural pathways in my brain at a totally different rate. It's like the strength that comes with being able to solve a challenge, even the simplest thing. Like I couldn't figure out how to properly map an array because I'm used to like, like the arrow function and all that jazz. It was very foreign to me, and it still is like something I'm trying to wrap my head around fully, how the arrow function works and all that jazz. It's pretty simple as a core concept, but it's just something I haven't been able to fully wrap my head around yet. And to be able to just like play in the wild, quote unquote, and just like be in my sandbox and create shit and make mistakes and do things on my own with a little bit of help from like Stack Overflow and such. But being able to do that has been very fulfilling and very like growth, you grow at such an exponential rate as when you're on your own learning, and trying and making mistakes. It's a lot of fun overall, and it can be stressful at times, but I'm enjoying React so damn much. It's just such a fucking incredible framework. Thank God for its creation and allowing it to be public. It's insane. So good. So those are some awesome things for this week. What could have made this week better? Taking the time to apply what I've been learning with a course called Node with React by Stephen Greiter, who is, by the way, an amazing, amazing teacher. So thank you so much, Stephen. Or sorry, it might even be Stefan. I'm so sorry if it is. That is the worst. Oh God, I hate that. But yeah, this guy just explains things at a phenomenally like simplistic yet deep level. Just, if you're watching this, thank you so much, man. Like, you've just connected the dots on so many things for React, Redux, etc. It's just so amazing. So that's one. And it's ironic that I was just talking about the application of the actual tutorials, but yeah, I've just been like listening and watching to those, or with those, and I'd like to take the time to actually apply more of what I've been learning instead of just listening and watching. So there's that. Yeah, I've been getting a little bit overwhelmed about like 2017 and making sure I close things out properly, and in a way where it's causing me a little bit of overwhelm. So I think I should be focusing less on, not I think, I should be focusing less on really getting shit done before 2017 ends, and instead just like enjoying the process and taking it one day at a time, because it's very easy to, when I'm in this mindset of like, let's get everything done for 2017, I just sometimes can forget like to enjoy the present moment and be one with what I'm doing. Granted, when I do get pulled into like code, design, whatever I'm creating, it does make me naturally very present, but it's just like it's like a slight tweak to that mindset, and I get a little bit future focused instead of now focused, which is good in some aspects, not so good in others. Putting my legs out fully while asleep. I have this strange thing where if my legs are like, or if I think it's my feet is the reason I do it. If my feet are like strained or something, if they're on this edge of the bed, by the way, I haven't acknowledged the fact that I'm just sitting on the floor right now, but it's cool. I like this. It's a good feeling. But if my legs are like, so these are my feet, this is my legs. Actually, let's make this the feet. If my feet are up like this, it's like causing some strain on the feet to keep the blanket up. And yeah, so I just do this awkward thing while I'm sleeping where I like either go like this or this or this, or I can't even do that with my arms. I think I do this though sometimes. And then I just like bend my knee. I don't know. I should be going like this the entire, not like that, but almost like starfishing, because that is where I get the best sleep. But I end up just like in these weird positions, and it ends up fucking up my sleep a little bit. So that's a random thing. But also, while we're on the health bit, breathing a little bit, or breathing deeper with my stomach. I've talked about this before. I just do forget to breathe deep sometimes. It's just very strange. And opening my throat more when I breathe. That's like a thing. Like you can close your, I don't even know how the fuck to do it, but it's like harder to breathe if you're closing your throat. So actually consciously opening my throat so I can get dramatically more oxygen in there. It's fucking important. Connecting with my vision more on a daily basis. And I've gotten caught up in the day-to-day, and I require a goal setting and a clearly defined reality to focus on and get pumped about. This is very accurate for right now. And this leads into, and also I'll just add thought looping. I really should get into the habit again of consciously thought looping more about things like positive stuff, like I love myself, like and affirmation based type of things, because it creates this just like positive momentum, even if you feel like giving up, or if you feel tired, if you feel like quitting, if you feel discouraged, bored even. This is like something that can change your state completely. And that combined with physiology changes and state changes, like that wakes me the fuck up. Yeah, I feel much more awake having done that than before. And so stuff in addition to that, like combining that with the thought loops is very fucking powerful. All right, so lessons. I'm really, by the way, just pause real quick. I'm excited at how, first off, I'm noticing that my ums and my, what are they called? Tisks or clicks or something. I think it's tisks, if I recall. Yeah, like a tisk. It's like the ums and the shit like that. Anyways, so stuff like that, I feel like I'm getting a lot better at. I don't know if there's many times I've said in this, and that's one of my tisks, just my go-to. I almost said it right there, ironically. I had to stop myself. If you can rewind, you'll see the mental process going on there. But has also kind of become that as well. A few other words I've developed that aren't but they're still like taking that spot. So I've got to work on that a little bit. But so I'm doing well though. So let's just get into lessons. Okay. Wherever you go, there you are. Your patterns follow you. I think this is very, very accurate. I'm not going to get into the exact situation, but wherever you are, you're bringing with you unless you full on confront and actually transform, clear, heal, whatever word you want to use. They're a little bit slightly different, but generally synonymous. If you are not doing that, that pattern is going with you. It's like if you move away to a different country because you want to get away from what's here, that is not necessarily the right move. It might be, but generally speaking, in my experience at least, you're going to bring all of your challenges with you in some sense, and they'll just appear in different ways. But you'll experience the same feelings that you're trying to run away from because you haven't addressed the actual root cause there. It's like putting a smiley sticker on an empty gas, the empty gas light. It's not going to fill up your gas can by putting a fucking sticker there. You're still out of gas. So that's kind of like a little bit woo-woo to talk about, but it's super practical in the grand scheme of things. And I don't know if you believe in that, but I definitely do. It's incredibly practical. This is a lesson I realized this week. I'm going to take all these documents of these weekly reviews and analyze them all for 2017 for my review to basically like construct this awesome yearly review, because I have all the data there and I can just like analyze and spot patterns, look for things that I didn't do, look for things I did do I'm proud of, all that stuff, and it's just like all sitting in my Google Drive. So that's super cool to think about. It's a lot less work for me too, which is nice. Automation is good where it can be. Use around 80% of my saturation, when I'm creating a CC, which is a color correction, if you don't speak a video editor, using around 80% of saturation. And saturation is usually at 100%. It's like what you see standard, but bringing down saturation 20% manifests in a way where it's like a little bit, and by the way, 0% is grayscale, so like black and white. So taking that down just like 20%, in addition to having the curves and the contrast, and a little bit of contrast and a little bit of exposure, and like slight curves, just like almost close to a line, making that is just like a very, very nice color correction that I've implemented on. I've implemented it on 003, I think. 003, yeah. That's Reflections 1. If I choose to go this route, I've just edited it. Oh my god, edited it. So yeah, that's a fucking beautiful color correction. I already talked about this a little bit, but taking the time to review the basics of JavaScript, and this is in this case via Treehouse or teamtreehouse.com. Yes, teamtreehouse.com. By that, I am filling in the cracks in my foundation getting one step closer to becoming world class at it. So I think that's fucking sick. It's also addressing a lot of like the insecurities I have around if there's like little cracks that manifest as insecurities, period. It's just like this whole, the goal is to make the foundation as solid as possible. And the little tweaks and if there's any cracks, that's just like, it's very easy to become a little bit insecure about it, or like I've talked about a million times, you can only go as, wait, hold up. You can only go as high up as your foundation is deep. It's just absolutely important to fill in every crack before you start going up. Or if you are up, filling in the crack while you are up so the building doesn't come toppling down. During the winter, if possible, this is ridiculous. During the winter, if possible, absolutely make the effort to have a duvet. This is actually what's written down. Sleeps become even more incredible, and I won't care about messing up the bed with blankets because duvets are impossible to make perfect. They're always a little crazy. Because, like, I have this tendency to just want to make my bed perfectly flat. And I did that with the blankets, but as soon as I said anything on it, just like instantly ruined. But with the duvet, there's like, it's ruined all the time, quote unquote, because you just cannot get it to be perfect because of like how much shit is going on the inside with all the feathers. So it's just virtually impossible from what I've seen, that is. And I like it because it's just like, I don't even know how to describe it other than it's so damn fucking comfy. And sleeps will never be the same. I haven't had a duvet since like 2012, something like that. So I'm glad to have duvet life back again. It's phenomenal, and I have completely forgotten what I've missed. Oh, here's a good one. If I'm not 100% clear on what I want the design to be, instead of coding it, take the time to mock it up with Marvel. And this is, by the way, after I've sketched. So like sketching first, and then if I'm not clear on the sketch, then heading into something called Marvel App. And that's at marvelapp.com. So with that though, it's like, skip the Marvel if I actually am 100% clear on the sketch. But if there's a little bit of doubt and I just don't have 100% certainty on that I want to code, not that I want to code, if I'm not 100% certain on what exactly I want the design to look like in my brain, then I will head to Marvel and mock it up. I was doing that for Infinity to get some better, like I was talking about this a few weeks ago, like getting a different viewpoint on it is so crucial. And I'm talking about within yourself too, like looking at things in a different light. Once I've exhausted sketching, it's probably and I still don't have something, it's probably a good idea to head to Marvel app or whatever you choose to do and really mock that thing up and do that multiple times until you find the best one of the bunch and the one that actually resonates fully. And I'm still in the process of this because I have not found that one that really speaks true to me. I'm getting closer, but I still haven't found that like one of the way to display wisdom on Infinity in a content sense. That'll make more sense in the future. But that's what I'm working on right now, and I still don't have it, but I'm getting closer. I might use an Instagram look. It's / like Twitter. This is like almost like a Twitter, Instagram mashup of what they use, and it looks pretty cool. So there's that, and I thought there was one more thing. I'll end with this. If I get tired, it's because I forgot the goal or I believe I can't make it happen. And the latter is always an illusion. Yeah, we can do it. The only thing that's getting in our way is us. it happens. I have been pretty good overall with like self-belief and stuff like that, but it does creep up on me, and I do sometimes let in the negative influences, and I do like doubt myself, and that's okay. I think what's most important is even in those times, making sure I push through, and regardless of how I feel, regardless of how confident I'm feeling in that moment, odds are I'm probably very confident overall, but there are times where I do not feel confident, and those times it's important to just move forward and push through anyways. And more than that, take fucking action. Action alleviates anxiety, period, end of story. When we are procrastinating, when we are waiting, when we are sloth, it's very easy for fear to creep up. It's very easy for doubt to creep up. All this stuff, so much of bad stuff in terms of mental comes from inaction. Take the action, you start to get the momentum, you get the good feelings, you get self-belief, and the cycle fucking continues. Momentum is key, period, end of story. Go fucking take action. I have no idea where that came from. But anyways, I felt like I was talking to someone during that, but I'm not sure if I was talking to anyone. It felt like that in my mind. I'm going to say that probably was the case, that I was talking to someone, because I think that's going to end up on Instagram somehow. All right. Yeah, that's it. I think this might be the fastest of all time, and I'm excited about it. I also love how this is getting a much quicker, much more meatier, and I'm not rambling for so long, which is great. I love to just share my lessons, share what's up, and holy fuck, I forgot about like a huge thing. I started posting, and that's something that's amazing about this week. I have been on like this thing where I've just been like stalling so hard on posting, and I finally posted the videos of 001, 002, and 000, 001, and 002 for the Josh Moxey show, but in video format. So that's on Facebook, YouTube, and yeah, and now I'm about to post 003, which should be Reflections 001. That's confusing. I know. I'm trying to figure out. It's fucking annoying, but I will figure it out. So I should be posting that tomorrow. So 12, 18, 17. So hopefully I can do that and then finally get out of Reflections. This is Reflection 6 that we are recording right now. And I still have not put out a Reflections, but I'm close, which is nice. And I'm taking action on that. So without further ado, I appreciate you watching or listening. And yeah, I really like this episode. I'm a fan. Some good knowledge bombs, a little bit of what do you call it? I can't even think right now. I'm gonna go get junk food wasted, and because I've earned it. It is cheat day though. It doesn't matter if I've earned it. Actually, by definition, I have earned it because I've done well the past 6 days. But anyways, I'm gonna go eat some junk food because it's cheat day, and I will catch you next week for Reflections 007. On this episode, I sit on the floor. I talk about JavaScript becoming a master versus becoming world class, and a bunch of other random shit as per usual. And it's really fucking good. Enjoy.